Welcome to the 93rd edition of the Hambletonian. I'm Jaimi Fellows with the Harness Racing Update. Today, we're at the Meadowlands talking Hambo. Yannick Gingras here with me. Yannick, what is your favorite Hambo memory?
Well, Hambo, the race itself, haven't been much luck for me, so I don't have a great memory that way. A couple times finished second, but I have a lot of great Oaks memories. I won the last four, so probably my favorite of the four would probably be last year Ariana G. The first three I wasn't really the favorite. It wasn't as much pressure or nothing like that. Last year Ariana G, she was the horse to beat, monkey on my back, and she got the job done.
And if you could win the Hambletonian, you had that trophy for a day, what would you do with it?
I would probably try to beat Ovechkin, see if I can outdrink him or something. It'd be a lot of drinking, a lot of partying, and we'd be drinking right out of that cup.
Do you have any Hambletonian Day traditions?
No, I'm not a really big superstitious guy. Just stay cool. Try to, do good for the first part of the day. Try to not to do anything stupid. And Hambo Day has been good for me the last few years, and leading up to the Hambo itself. So hopefully we can do the same thing today.
Zeron joining the Harness Racing Update. Scott, what's your favorite Hambletonian memory?
When I won it with McNair Marauder, it was right down to the wire, just got up by a nose, and that was thrilling to do it for the Wellwoods and keep my Keeling. It was great.
And do you have any Hambletonian traditions?
Yeah, when I wake up, I try to eat breakfast. Usually a little bit nervous, but no, since it's like a 6-hour program of races, and I've mostly been in a lot of the races, I make sure I pack lots of drinks, orange juice, keep the blood sugar up, and just make sure you got granola bars, because it's hard, you can't eat lunch. You got 6 hours straight of racing, so I make sure I got lots of granola bars and drinks.
Good luck today.
Thank you.
Dave Miller joining Harness Racing Update. Dave, what is your favorite Hambo memory?
Well, it wasn't even a horse that I drove. It was Mac LaBelle when he won the Hambletonian. He showed such a heart and courage that day, and just raced two unbelievable heats, and that so far is my favorite Hambletonian.
And if you could win the Hambletonian and had that trophy for that full 24 hours, what would you do with it?
I probably would take it everywhere I could, set it up on the bar or take it, it'd be underneath my arm, that's for sure.
That seems to be a common theme with these drivers and trainers today. Ray Schnittker here joining Harness Racing Update. Ray, what is your favorite Hambletonian memory?
Probably 10 years ago when Dewey Cheatham and Howe won the Hambletonian, and Make It Happen was third. It never is going to get any better than that.
Now you're holding the Hambletonian trophy. You have it for 24 hours. What would you do with it?
Well, I drank a bunch of Bud Lights out of it before, so I'd probably do the same thing.
Keep the tradition going.
Yeah.
So any Hambletonian traditions that you have?
No, not really. Just hopefully get another one back in it.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Tim Tetrick joining us now. Tim, what is your favorite Hambo memory?
Well, it's got to be winning with market share, and got to put my daughter Trista in the cup when we win, so that was pretty awesome.
We've seen the baby in the Stanley Cup before. We saw your daughter in the Hambo Cup. Now, if you got that trophy for 24 more hours, what would you do with it?
I'd just probably hold it, keep it, and treasure it, because they're so hard to get, and just to be able to participate in that race is awesome, and, I wish I could put my daughter back in it again.
Do you have any Hambo traditions?
Not really. We always race Friday night, and then go into Hambo Day, and it's kind of a long day. We just kind of, after the races are over, we kind of go home, have dinner with the family, whoever's here, and visiting, and just take it low-key.
Thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you, guys.
Andy Miller joining the Harness Racing Update. Andy, what's your favorite Hambletonian memory?
Probably a couple years ago when I had Sutton in it, and he just got beat ahead, finished third, and was really trotting fast in the lane, and almost got there.
And if you won the Hambletonian, you got that trophy for a day, what would you do with it?
I'd probably take it home, set it on the mantle, and let everybody enjoy it and see it, and just relish it for a day.
Thank you so much for joining us here in the paddock.
Thank you.
Tony Alagna joins us here today in the paddock. Tony, what is your favorite Hambo memory?
I would say 2013, Captain Treacherous won the Woodrow Wilson, and my MVP was third, beat a neck to market share in the Hambletonian.
Now, if you could win the Hambletonian and take that trophy home for a day, what would you do with it?
I would take it everywhere I went. It would not leave my sight for the whole day. Wherever I went, it would go with.
And do you have any traditions on Hambletonian Day?
Not really. It's pretty much a standard day. We try to have a light workload at the barn, and everybody get up here and enjoy the day.
Enjoy the night a little bit too?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Louis-Philippe Roy joins us now in the paddock. Louis, what's your favorite Hambletonian memory?
I guess it would probably be today because that's my first Hambletonian day, so I hope it's going to be a good day for me and good memory.
And if you could win the Hambletonian, take that trophy home for a day, what would you do with it?
I'll sure invite some of the drivers, some of my friend drivers that I know that will never win it, like Doug McNair, James MacDonald, and just share times with them, spend time with them and make them touch a trophy maybe once in their life.
That's so generous of you. They would really appreciate it, and good luck today.
Thank you.
Julie Miller joins Harness Racing Update. Julie, what's your favorite Hambo memory?
Oh, so far, I guess it'd have to be when we were a third to American Marauder, got beat ahead. That was exciting. It was still a photo. So I feel like I'm knocking on the door of a year. I was second last year, so it's got to be my turn sooner or later, I hope, Jaimi.
I absolutely agree. And if you won the Hambletonian, you had that trophy for a whole 24 hours, what would you do with it?
I don't think you could pry it out of my hands. I think I would just hug it. I don't think Annie would be allowed in the bed. I would sleep with it. I would just be so honored and proud.
And if you do you have any Hambletonian traditions?
So far, no. I like to start one today, so hopefully that would work out for me.
Well, thank you so much for joining the Harness Racing Update.
Thanks.
Ben Baillargeon joining Harness Racing Update. Ben, what is your favorite Hambletonian memory?
Well, I don't really have memory. I've never raced in the Hambletonian, but I've been here on Hambletonian Day for the last 4, 5, 6 years maybe. I had a horse called Etruscan where he was second in the Vincent. I was real ecstatic about it. But it's always nice. Hambletonian Day, there's more excitement everywhere.
And if you won the Hambletonian, you had that trophy for a whole day, what would you do with it?
Well, I'd look at it a little bit for sure, but nothing special. Yeah.
Share it with the family.
Yeah, they can look at it. I will be there to look for sure.
And any Hambletonian traditions? You race here almost the last few Hambo days.
No, not really. I'm pretty simple.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Okay, no problem.
Perfect. Thank you. Anthony MacDonald joins us now. Anthony, what's your favorite Hambletonian memory?
Well, I'm hoping it's in about 4 or 5 hours' time. That would be my greatest memory. But yeah, growing up watching the Hambletonian every year, and one race in particular sticks out when Probe and Park Avenue Joe, I think, battled the whole way down the lane, and there was a dead heat. I thought that was the most incredible thing I'd ever seen in my life. So, memories from the past, yeah, Park Avenue Joe and Probe for sure.
And if you had the Hambletonian trophy for 24 hours, what would you do with it?
I'd have to take it to PEI because it'd be the only thing that somebody else has never taken to PEI, I think, has been the Hambletonian trophy. So yeah, I'd like to take it to PEI.
And any Hambletonian traditions?
No, I mean, every year we watch the Hambletonian. It's the biggest race in North America for trotters, and it's really special for a lot of horsemen. It's special for me because none of my other brothers have ever won it. So it'd be nice to win it. But no, just watch it every year. We never ever miss a Hambletonian, ever.
Thank you so much for joining the Harness Racing Update.
Thank you.
Trevor Henry joins us now. Trevor, what is your favorite Hambletonian memory?
Probably Marion Marauder when he won it. He was from Canada, so it was good.
And if you could win the Hambletonian, you had the trophy for a whole day, what would you do with it?
I'd take it to the Post-Time Bar and Grill in Arthur, and I'd drink beer out of it.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Harness Racing Update.
Thank you.
Andrew Harris here with us. Andrew, what is your favorite Hambo memory?
Definitely Muscle Hill. How he was so relaxed, did everything the right way. Brian just was able to guide him right to the front, and he just did his thing. His stride was amazing. He never looked like he was exerted. He was just the best horse I've ever seen.
And if you could win the Hambletonian and take that trophy home for a day, what would you do with it?
I don't know what I'd do during the day, but I know at nighttime it'd be between me and my wife in the bed.
Would she be okay with that?
I wouldn't care.
Brett Miller joins the Harness Racing Update. Brett, what's your favorite memory of the Hambletonian?
Probably when I was younger, watching when Mel, I think his name was Mel Burrows, won the Hambo. I'm not even sure if I'm saying his name right. He was kind of like an amateur driver, and to see him win the Hambo, that was pretty exciting. And also, when Roger Hammer won the Hambo, that's a guy that I raced against for years at the Meadows. And Roger Hammer, he's just kind of like one of those old hillbillies. And to see him win it, that was pretty exciting.
Now, if you could win the Hambletonian and you had that trophy for a whole day, what would you do with it?
You know what? Yannick Gingras and I were just talking about that, and we said we'd probably take it to the after Hambo party and pour some beer in it or something and drink out of it.
Enjoy the night with it.
Exactly. It'd probably end up in the swimming pool, but that's probably what would happen.
And do you have any Hambo traditions?
Not really. It seems like every year, though, my wife, she plans these big events on Hambo Day, and then ends up being a real hectic day. And I always say to her, I said, why do you do this on one of the biggest days? Let's just sit back and relax. But a lot of times it's hectic on that day.
Thanks so much for joining us here at the Meadowlands.
Thank you.
Greg Blanchard joining the harness racing update at the Hambletonian. Greg, what is your favorite Hambo memory?
I would say 1996, my first Hambo. I was here, and that was the year Continental Victory won it. And I was good friends with the Offenbergs, who were co-owners at the time. And I was at Freehold Raceway working, and Eric was an intern. So we were here, of course, cheering her on. And she was the last filly to win it prior to, of course, Atlanta winning yesterday.
And if you could win the Hambletonian yourself, what would you do with that trophy if you had it for the whole day?
Ooh, good question. For one day, if I had time, I'd love to take it back to PEI, fill it with vodka, water, cranberry, maybe take it to Old Home Week and show it off.
You got to time it right for Old Home Week. Exactly. And do you have any Hambo traditions?
I would say just watching the race on TV, whether it's simulcast or network, and having a chance to be on the network coverage this year is a huge thrill.
Thank you so much for joining us just outside the paddock here at the Meadowlands.
Thank you.
Doug McNair joins Harness Racing Update. Doug, what's your favorite Hambo memory?
Oh, there's quite a few, but probably when Scotty won it a couple years ago with Wellwood's horse and Keeling's horse, that was pretty fun to watch.
And if you could win the Hambletonian and you had the trophy for a day, what would you do with it?
Oh, I'd probably fill it up with beer and have a bunch of my buddies over and have a pretty good party.
Any Hambo traditions?
Usually if I'm not racing here, I'll be at home watching on the couch, have a program, and keep track of everything.
Well, thank you so much for joining us here at the Meadowlands.
Thanks.
Jimmy Takter joins Harness Racing Update. Jimmy, what's your favorite Hambo memory?
Wow, they all are so special. I mean, it's hard to say one is better than the other, but it's such a great horses. So, of course, when I drove and won myself, that's something you reflect on later on a little bit more, maybe. But they're all sweet.
And if you had the big trophy with you, you got to take it home for 24 hours. What would you do with it?
Well, no, we actually, when we won with Muscle Massive, Dave Briggs and the team came over and they did a photo shoot in the pool area and actually turned out to be really great. And we had champagne bottles in it, and it was fun.
Any Hambletonian traditions?
No, not really. I mean, of course, you're very tense. You're going into it. You got to be ready for it. And I try to be relaxed as much as I can. Of course, today we're racing quite a few horses, so it's a tense day.
You're a very busy guy, and we really appreciate you joining us here.
Thank you.